What if I told you the rent you pay in London or New York could cover your entire life in Europe, not just your apartment, everything? And almost nobody is paying attention yet, which means right now you are early before prices move, because they always do. Today I am showing you 2 countries where you can live for under $1,000 a month, and number 1 is so overlooked it will not stay this cheap for long. Number 2, Moldova. And this is where most people scroll past without realizing they just skipped one of the cheapest places in Europe, because they have never heard much about it, and that is exactly how opportunities work. Attention comes later, prices move first. Now picture this. You wake up in a quiet European capital. You step outside, no noise, no pressure, tree-lined streets, local markets, small cafes. You sit down, order coffee for less than $2, and for a moment you are not thinking about bills. And then it hits you. Your entire monthly life here can sit between $500 to $900 total. Not rent, everything. Now let's break that down quickly, because this is where it becomes real. Rent first, you can find your own apartment for around $250 to $400. Not shared, not temporary, your own place. Now compare that to London or New York, where that amount disappears in days, not months. Groceries next, fresh food is cheap and accessible. You can live on around $150 to $200 per month if you cook. And here is where the shift happens. Eating out stops being a luxury and becomes normal. Meals cost $5 to $8, full portions, real food, not rushed. And suddenly your lifestyle improves without your spending increasing. But here is the truth. Moldova is cheap because local salaries are low and growth is slower, which is exactly why it has not exploded yet. But if you are earning in dollars or pounds, this flips completely in your favor. Your income stretches, your stress drops, and your time opens up. You are not constantly checking your account. You are not working just to keep up. You actually feel the difference day to day. Now let's stay honest. Infrastructure is still developing, English is limited outside main areas, and local job options are not strong if you depend on them. But for remote workers or retirees, these are small trade-offs. And Moldova does offer residence permits for longer stays, even if it is not heavily promoted yet, which again keeps demand low and prices stable. Now here is where everything shifts, because number 1 is not just cheap, it is a smarter move overall. Number 1, Bosnia and Herzegovina. And this is where value becomes very clear, because this is not just about low cost, this is about balance. And this is why people who research properly often choose this instead. Now imagine this. You wake up in a European city surrounded by mountains, historic streets, and a mix of cultures. You walk into a cafe, order coffee for €1 or €2, sit down, no pressure, no rush. And you realize something, your entire monthly life here can average around $750 to $850. And even if you live comfortably, you are still within $800 to $1,200 total. Now let's break that down. Rent first, you can find apartments for $200 to $400. Often larger than expected, sometimes with views. And again, compare that to major cities where rent alone crosses $2,000. And this is the moment everything changes. Groceries next. Local markets are affordable, fresh, and reliable. You can keep your monthly cost around $150 to $200. And eating out again becomes normal. Meals cost $5 to $10. Real traditional food, not fast food. And this is where the upgrade happens. You are spending less, but living better. But here is the key difference. Bosnia offers better overall value than Moldova, because the balance between cost, infrastructure, and daily life is stronger. Internet is stable, services are smoother, and daily living feels easier, which is why many comparisons show Bosnia slightly cheaper or similar in cost, but clearly better in experience. And that matters because you are not just choosing a cheap place, you are choosing how your life feels every day. Now think about this clearly. What you pay for a single room in London or New York can cover your entire life here. Not part of it, everything. And that one shift changes your entire reality. Now let's stay real. It is not part of the European Union, local job options are limited if you rely on them, and winters can be cold. But if you earn from outside or plan retirement, these are small trade-offs compared to the control you gain. And Bosnia also offers residence options for longer stays, which makes it practical if you want to actually try this lifestyle. If you are a farmer looking for a place where land, costs, and lifestyle actually work in your favor, Bosnia and Herzegovina offers some very clear advantages that are hard to find in most of Europe today. One of the biggest benefits is low land cost, with agricultural land often available at a fraction of Western European prices, making it possible to own and expand without heavy debt. The soil in many regions is naturally fertile, especially for fruits, vegetables and small-scale mixed farming, and much of the land is still underutilized, which means less competition and more opportunity. Another major advantage is low operating costs. Daily expenses, labor, and basic inputs are significantly cheaper, which reduces overall risk and allows farmers to stay profitable even at smaller scales. The climate supports seasonal diversity with warm summers, suitable for crops, and manageable winters for livestock or storage-based farming. Access to local markets is also strong, where fresh and organic produce is valued, giving farmers the chance to sell directly and keep higher margins instead of relying on large supply chains. For those thinking long-term, Bosnia is also attracting growing interest from the European market, creating strong potential for future growth as demand continues to increase. As more investors and businesses begin exploring the region, the value of well-located properties could rise significantly over the coming years. But here's the part most people completely overlook. These countries are affordable today not because they lack value, but because the world hasn't fully discovered them yet. And that's exactly how many of the best opportunities begin. First, almost nobody pays attention. Then a small group recognizes the potential and starts investing early. After that, more people follow, demand accelerates, and prices begin rising much faster than expected. And once that cycle starts, property prices rarely return to where they were before. The biggest gains usually go to those who recognize the opportunity before everyone else did. You've already seen this happen in other parts of Europe, where places that were once affordable are now out of reach. And the only difference was timing. The early people paid less and lived better. Everyone else arrived later and paid more for the exact same life. And right now, you are still in that early phase where things are calm, affordable, and overlooked. But that window never stays open for long. Now, think about this for a second. If your expenses dropped by even 40 to 50% starting next month, what would actually change? Would you keep living the same routine, or would you finally give yourself a different experience? Because this is not just about saving money, it is about removing constant pressure and gaining control over your time and your life. And once that shift happens, it is very hard to go back. So be honest, which one surprised you more, Bosnia and Herzegovina or Moldova? And more importantly, could you actually see yourself trying this, even for a few months? Comment your answer below. I read everything. And if you want more places like this before prices rise, subscribe now, because the next one might not stay this cheap for long.